do IXL 7th grade AA.9. Go to Learning. Make sure that you are on Math. Then go down to 7th grade. AA.9, Volume of Pyramids. Okay, before we do this, let's go over to Frydman Math and look at, here on page 12, we see volume. So let's go to page 12. All right, here is page 12, and volume is on this side. Last week we were talking about the volume of prisms, and I also included cylinders, even though a cylinder is not technically a prism. You find the volume the same way. And very quickly, let's just review how to find the volume of a prism. You just find the area of the base and you multiply it by the height. Very simple. Now, when we go to find the volume of a pyramid, which is sort of like a prism, except it comes to a point at the top. So with a prism, if I have a prism drawn this way, the bottom is the same as the top. Right? The bottom is the same as the top. For a pyramid, the bottom could be a rectangle or a triangle or a circle or whatever, but the top is not also a rectangle or a triangle or a circle. The top just comes to a point. So that's how a pyramid is different from a prism. The bottom is not the same as the top, whereas in a prism, we have two identical bases, which I'm just casually saying the bottom and the top. So a pyramid comes to a point, and if you were to compare, let's pretend that you had a prism that looks like this, and you had a pyramid that looks like this. And let's say that the base of the prism is the same as the base of the pyramid, and the height of the prism is the same as the height of the pyramid. So the base here is the same as the base here, and the height here is the same as the height here, except this one just goes straight up so that the top looks the same as the bottom, whereas for the pyramid, it meets at a point at the top. Let's say that these were empty and you could fill them with water. Well, just by looking at them, imagine that this is some empty container that's in the shape of a prism, and this is some empty container that's in the shape of a pyramid. Just by looking at them, which one could hold the most water, would you say? If you wanted to fill both of these with water, which one could hold the most, assuming that the bases were the same and the height was the same? Well, the answer hopefully should look pretty obvious from the picture. The answer is that the prism holds more water. If I were to somehow pour water into this, the prism would hold more. The pyramid would hold less, again, assuming that the bases were the same and the heights were the same. Now, the question is how much less? Does the pyramid hold only half as much water, or does it hold only a third as much water, or only a fourth as much water? Or some other fraction, maybe 2/3 as much, or 4/7, whatever the fraction may be. Well, it turns out, I'm not going to prove it here. Proving it is a lot easier when you learn calculus, which a lot of you will learn in high school. For now, you're just going to have to trust me. The volume of a pyramid is the area of the base times the height divided by 3. Now compare that to the volume of a pyramid. The volume of a prism. The volume of a prism was the area of the base times the height. Whereas, again, the volume of a pyramid is the area of the base times the height divided by 3. So we start off exactly the same as finding the volume of a prism. In fact, to find the volume of a pyramid, we start off by finding the volume of a prism, which is just the area of the base times the height, and then we divide it by 3. That indicates that a prism can, if you want to think of it in terms of how much water it can hold, that indicates that a prism can hold only a third as much water as a prism with the same base and height. Right? So the volume of a pyramid is the same as the volume of a prism divided by 3. A prism with the same base and height divided by 3. So let's move on to this question over here from IXL. What is the volume of this rectangular pyramid? So we're going to use our formula. The volume of a pyramid now, not a prism, is equal to the area of the base times the height divided by 3. Okay, so let's plug in what we know. The area of the base, well, we can see over here that the base is a rectangle, and we know how to find the area of a rectangle. It's just the length times the width. So if I wanted to find the area of the base of this pyramid, which happens to be a rectangle, I would have to do 3 times 2. But then I'm also going to multiply that by the height of the pyramid, which is 2 inches here. So let's put times 2 over here. And we are going to divide all of that by 3. Okay, so we're going to get the volume is equal to 3 times 2 is 6, times another 2 is 12, and then 12 divided by 3 is 4. So we're going to get 4 over here. You also could have figured that out by just canceling these 3's here, and then you see 2 times 2 is 4. So that happened to work in this example. You're not always going to have a 3 in the numerator, so you can't always use that trick. And just, I always like to do a little bit of unit analysis. So this 3 over here, and this 2 here, and this 2 here, these were all inches. So this was inches, this was inches, this was inches. So if we have inches times inches times inches, and this is dimensionless, then in our answer, we're going to get inches to the 3rd power. Or in other words, cubic inches, which is what IXL tells you over here. So they already told you the units of the answer. You didn't have to figure that out, but I still like to mention it. So the answer for this one will be 4 cubic inches. Hit submit. All right, now again, we're going to do, I'll just erase everything. What is the volume of this triangular pyramid? Again, the volume, whoa. The volume is equal to the area of the base times the height divided by 3. But in this case, the base is a triangle, not a rectangle. It's a triangle. Let's review how to find the area of a triangle. That's over here. I'm going to erase this for a second. The area of a triangle is the length times the height, meaning the height of the triangle, not the height of the pyramid. The length times the height divided by 2. So going back over here, if I want to find the area of that triangle, I'm going to have to do 5 times 3 divided by 2. So now my equation is volume equals, for the area, we're going to write 5 times 3 divided by 2. Now times the height, which is 3. And all of that should be divided by 3. Okay, so volume equals, let's see, this over here, 5 times 3 divided by 2. Well, 5 times 3 is 15, and 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. So we're going to have 7.5 times 3 divided by 3. Now, over here, we could say, we could do this a couple of ways. We could say 7.5 times 3 is equal to 22.5, and 22.5 divided by 3, you can use a calculator for that, but that would give you 7.5 again. Or you could just say, well, the 3's cancel here, so we're going to get the volume is equal to 7.5, and that would be cubic meters. Okay, because we have meters, 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 and they all got multiplied. So that would be cubic meters in our answer. Okay. I told you a couple minutes ago that you're not always going to be able to cancel the 3's out. We just happened to have 2 questions in a row where we had a 3 in the numerator, so that canceled out with the 3 in the denominator very nicely for us. But that's not always going to happen. All right, what is the volume of this triangular pyramid? Volume equals the area of the base times the height divided by 3. So, to find the area of this triangle, we would do 3 times 5 divided by 2. Now we're going to multiply that by the height, which is 5, and we're going to divide all of that by 3. So the volume, this is what we had before. 3 times 5 is 15, divided by 2 is 7.5. And then 7.5 times 5 over 3. So let's see here. 7.5 times 3. 7.5 times 5. Well, I know that 7 times 5 is 35. I know that 0.5 times 5 is 2.5. So 35 plus 2.5 is going to give me 37.5 in the numerator. That's a little bit of mental math. You could use a calculator if you want. Divided by 3. Let's work that out. 37.5 divided by 3. $12.5. So the volume is equal to 12.5, and again, that would be cubic meters, because I have meters, meters, meters. Okay. All right, so this one is another pyramid with a triangular base. So you have to, it's very important that you take a look at the shape of the base. If the shape of the base is a, let's say, a rectangle or a parallelogram, then you would just be doing the length times the height to find the area of that base. But if it's a triangle, then remember you have to divide by 2 to find the area of a triangle. Okay, so we just did 2 triangular-based pyramids, so I'm going to skip to the next level. What is the volume of this triangular pyramid? That looks to be the same as what we just did. So I'm going to skip to the next level again. Okay, this is exactly the same. Is it going to give me something different? All right, this is the same thing, just in words. Let me go back a little. Yeah, I want to try to get a problem where it asks me for the height or the length or the width. Let me try doing this problem real quick. So the volume here would be equal to area times the height divided by 3. That's going to be 15 times 10. This is a triangle, so I need to divide it by 2 times the height of 11 divided by 3. This is going to give me 15 times 10 is 150, divided by 2 is 75. So I get 75 times 11 over 3. And then, so let's just, you know what? So that's going to be 275, I believe. That would be cubic inches. So let's type that in. Oops. Let's see if we get a different kind of question here. Now it keeps okay, so it's just asking me for the volume in all of these. So let's jump to the next level. Again, it's asking me for the volume. I thought some of these would ask for the height. Let's try doing this one and see if we get a different kind of question next. But you do have to be careful here because this says a rectangular pyramid. What does that mean, a rectangular pyramid? That means that the base of the pyramid, in this case, is a rectangle, not a triangle. So it's similar to the first question that we did in this video, where the base was a rectangle instead of a triangle. And we're told that it's 9 yards long and 9 yards wide. So actually, it's a square-based pyramid. And the pyramid's height is 13 yards. This is yards, this is yards, this is yards. Okay, so if I want to find the volume of the pyramid, I'm going to do volume is equal to the area of the base times the height divided by 3. Now the area of the base here, the base is just a square. So we just have to do 9 times 9 to find the area of the base. We do not have to divide by 2 because the base is not a triangle. You're only going to divide by 2 when the base is a triangle. Then times the height of 13, and then all of that divided by 3. And I'm just going to go ahead here, and you could use a calculator if the numbers get too big. I'm just going to go ahead and use a calculator. I know 9 times 9 at least. That's 81. So now I have 81 times 13 equals something. 1053 divided by 3 equals 351. So there's our answer. The volume is equal to 351. That would be cubic yards. Okay, again, it's asking me for the volume. So I thought some of these would ask me for the height. Apparently, they're not doing that. So I'm just going to stop the video there. What you will need to do when you get to these word problems is you will have to you actually have to read it and pay attention in particular to if it tells you if it's a triangular pyramid or a rectangular pyramid. If it's a triangular pyramid, then remember you're going to have to divide by 2 when you calculate the area of the base. If it is a rectangular pyramid, meaning the base is a rectangle, then you will not have to divide by 2 when you calculate the area of the base. All right, so that's that. Hope that was helpful. Reach out if you have any questions, and have a great day.